Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Trading with Ashley show. And I am sitting at a desk of somebody I respect so much, and he has become a very good friend. And so I'm so honored to be here today. And I have asked him to help us. He is a master charter, he just knows his stuff. And we have some very popular stocks that we're going to be reviewing, and we are going to have his intel on him. And so I a lot of times will show you some technicals. There's some basic level technicals, let's be honest. And then I also share with you how to trade some of these stocks. Today, we're going to go a little bit deeper with this master charter so that we can have a better sense for when is the right entry. Is it now? Should we wait? If we wait, where should we actually get in on some of these popular stocks? So get ready because we are going to go over SoFi. It's very popular. We're going to go over AMD. It has just gone to the moon. And then we're also going to go over one of my favorites, and that's Robinhood. So with that, I am going to turn you over to my friend Stocks with Josh to help us so we make better decisions.
Well, thank you, Ashley. Very kind of you to introduce me that way. I just want to publicly say that when Ashley shows up and we visit, I am listening because she's got a brilliant mind, and oftentimes she's dropping nuggets for me. And so I've enjoyed the time that you've shared with me, and I'm taking stuff away. So thank you so much. Let's go into the charts that she asked for. We're going to start off with SoFi, which is one of incredible interest. And I just want to publicly say that I've had this position regarding SoFi that from my long-term investment account, I am simply too afraid to sell this company. And they have to grow into their opportunity. And obviously, it's going to be quarter by quarter analysis of their profit margins and their growth. But this company is the one financial institute that seems to know what the future is going to be about. And I remember right away back in the day when SoFi was coming, was new. This was my kids were all telling me about SoFi, right? And they don't know nothing about the traditional banks. And so SoFi was winning at getting the next generation.
That is so important because the way, you look at the total addressable market, they have products that they start off with at the very beginning of the stages where they're getting into money, and that's with college. But then they offer everything as that individual grows. And that's why I think it's such a successful business model because they will do their mortgage with them, they'll do life insurance, and they have other products that they're offering. They're adding options now for trading, all sorts.
And then their proprietary banking services, they're actually offering the framework of that to other financial institutions that simply don't have the tools or the vision for creating it themselves. So these guys are well suited. And I mentioned all that to say, $60 to $120 stock in the coming days, and it's going to vacillate. So no matter what I'm about to share with you in the chart, I want you to remember that this is one that I dub too afraid to sell. Let's go look at that. Okay, now what we've got on the chart is the trend-based extension off of that pullback and the previous low back in 2024. And I just want to point out something that is pretty important. So this is a big picture view. Now, trends go to die at the golden pocket between 1.6 and 2. That's where a trend eventually will find an end. And I just want to point out that here we are at $24, dramatically below that zone. And so this is a call to all the long-term investors. I'm not saying that we couldn't come back and tag the 20, which would be very sensible, $23, tagging the 20 EMA. But as far as the overall trend that we're in, this is one that I don't think you even want to consider selling. You're looking at 55 to 48. And so I've never shared that, but this is just a chart you guys need to see. All of us who've been investing in SoFi, we all bought it down here around $6.40. And, we're all thrilled to be up here at $20. Okay. But this party is just getting started. I also want to point out something that's extremely important. And this is going to be relevant when we get into the hood chart. I'm going to show you something in the hood chart, and I want you to remember what you saw in the SoFi chart, because this is what hood proved is sort of being seen here on SoFi.
Oh, wow.
So we've got, first of all, your IPO price is always your point of control. Okay, that's your point of control, and that's going to be your anchored VWAP for all eternity for the stock. And then you have this run up moment here, right? And of course, that was when everyone was hyped up about the opportunity. And of course, it trended in that zone for a while between the top of the initial IPO high price to the ultimate high, the 52-week high, you could say, or the all-time high at the time. So this became a very important trading range. This is your point of control. This became your trading range. When this thing broke down, it went into what referred to as deep despair down here, right? And eventually, we have now officially moved our way back in. But we're somewhere right now that's massively significant, and that's that we have gotten back above these prices here, okay? Which means that this is day one back to the bull run for SoFi. Now, we want to see this hold. But for those who bought in here and they're thinking, man, I'm just happy, or I even bought in here and I'm just happy, I want to lock in some gains before this market falls apart. I just want you guys to know that this is such a beautiful bull spot. And the fact that we got above these prices and back tested them, this is setting up for a move to the golden pocket, 55 to 40. And this is, okay, so now someone, Ashley, is going to say, when, right? Because it's very important to talk about timelines. I'm not saying this is happening in the month of October, nor the month of November. What I'm telling you is that structurally, SoFi's chart is 100% intact. And when it got above the previous all-time high, which was created after the IPO, which is your point of control, we are currently back testing it. It's not time for me to panic sell this. If anything, this is the moment, the calm before the storm, potentially for this to rocket up. Now, the day after I do this video, it might come back and test that 20.
But you know what I'm going to do?
Tell me
When
what.
that happens, I am going to add more. Or I'm going to buy Leaps, because if you have another 50% move or more, Leaps will grow exponentially to the actual stock. And so if you are looking for the leveraged opportunity, that's what I like to do. So on my red days, when there is a huge explosive move in front of me, I like red. I take advantage of the red to actually grow my wealth. So
I love it. I love it. So, okay, guys. So let's take a minute and go quickly look at the hood chart, because that's going to pump us up on the SoFi chart. Let's go over there and check that out. So hood. Now, remember what I just taught you guys about point of control and the all-time high after IPO. So right here is our point of control. This was our all-time high after the IPO. You can see that this is where all the smart money, early buyers who got in before the IPO, they began to take profits, right? Of course, then it fell into despair. We had an incredible season of sideways consolidation while these guys were just gaining market users.
well, wasn't a part of that the whole GME controversy, AMC controversy? I mean, they have
I'm going to say yes, but as a charting guy, I'm going to say that that largely this was going to happen.
It was gonna
Right?
happen
It was
for
going to happen. That whole GME thing was the justifiable excuse for Wall Street to push everybody into panic selling, right? Then they reaccumulate. Once it found its base, they reaccumulated. And from a structural standpoint, you can see this gave all the signs of stair-stepping up, right? It just stair-stepped up the entire time. This was a liquidity that it had to, this was an effort to push through bag holders, you could say, back here, right? The last moment before taking off. Now, this is the part that I think that we're at right now in SoFi. So remember, SoFi, it got above that triple top that it had, right? And then it back tested it. And then it's made the move up to the golden pocket, right? So hood is doing what I'm suggesting SoFi might do. Now we're looking at monthly candles. Now here's the last thing I want to say to you. And this is extremely important. And I show and demonstrate making money with what I'm teaching right now all the time. Okay, so we're gonna do it again. We did it on Tesla at the last week of September and the first couple of days of October, where we specifically held for 2 more days, getting an additional $40 move. And we did it on the basis of simple candle theory, which is the idea that we have a bald candle and we have no seller's wick. So it's not, look at back here, seller's wick, okay? This was the market when this just said, we had a wall of sellers that pushed it all the way down, right? And so this was time to let go and to move on. But we don't have any seller wick here. So I am expecting Hood to have some sort of a blow off top moment. Now I wish that Wall Street was so easy that that I could tell you that you can hold this until you get the seller's wick. I wish that was the case. But there are other candle patterns that you have to keep an eye out for as well. Now, the other one that could come into play here would be referred to as an evening star. And that's when you get a massive expansion candle with a little bitty compression candle, often shows up as a doji, right? And that's it. So these are monthly candles. It will be an entire month of it just going sideways. And during that time, it loses all momentum. And then that third month, a collapse. And so you might not always see a massive seller's wick. But I'll tell you this, we have to default bullish on Hood until we see at least it would be a handful of patterns. One, that ugly seller's wick, which means we're going higher, which we don't have just yet, or a doji candle that forms at the end of a full month. So that candle's got to close. That candle has to close. And then that third month candle has to lose the bottom of that doji candle. But here's the good news. We don't have any of that on Hood, which means we're still bullish. And you guys can do what you want. Nothing that I'm saying or Ashley saying is a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold. But one of my disciplines, Ashley, is to trade the trend. Yes. And so I'm just confirming technically that at this moment, everything could change tomorrow. At this moment, the trend for Hood is still very, very strong. But the trend for SoFi could be even stronger because we all can admit that Hood's had a powerful move.
It has. And when you think of, I like to mix the technicals with the fundamentals. And when you think about Hood's business model, I look at my own behavior. So I recently transferred some crypto and cash over to Robinhood because of the bonus that they were offering. And if I'm doing that, I know there are others.
I got good friends who are pretty wealthy and they're doing it too.
So
big chunks of change.
And they were smart, Josh. They waited until they had a platform that could support active traders like us before they were aggressive trying to get us over. And to me, that just shows that they're innovative. They think through the initiatives and they are continuing to bring initiatives. When you think about what they're doing with digitizing and putting on the blockchain stocks and everything that is coming with that whole dynamic. I mean, they are the forefront, and they are on the forefront of that. When you look at the fact of what's happening with every child going to get $1,000 that will be invested in the market, when those children grow up, if that money's with Robinhood, let's assume it is, if the parents want an easy, simple format, where will they start their investing journey? In Robinhood. Very similar in ways to what SoFi is doing. They are creating their future by what they're doing today. And I have confidence in a company like that.
That's a very good fundamental view. I don't disagree with you. Did you want me to go over AMD?
Yes, AMD is very popular right now. It's had quite the change.
Yeah.
Due to the dynamics of the partnership.
The circular AI NVIDIA loop that just everybody gets rich. You know, NVIDIA invests in AMD. AMD stock goes up. NVIDIA gets a share of AMD. So all the money that they gave, they get back through share appreciation. The money, it's just looping around.
It is. Well, and anyone that is going to partner, with AI right now, I mean, you look at the dynamics that's happening. Everyone wants a piece of that business. So.
Yeah. So let's go look at that chart because I do have an interesting story to share with you guys about the AMD chart. And this one's going to be a little bit less clear because obviously it's hot and this thing ran up very heavily. But I'm going to show you what is still possible. And then I'm going to show you where you would be concerned if this spot gets lost. Let's go look at the AMD chart. So in a nutshell, guys, what I've identified is a ascending bullish channel, right? And overall, this thing has, we've established it with 2 touches here. Largely, we don't have a second touch down here, but that could occur much later. We had this incredible move off of the low 80s here. We moved up. This is a bullish pattern, this descending parallel channel. They break to the upside. Nobody expected this type of a break. Now, this candle, right now, this could be a shooting star. So this is referred to as a shooting star. And this can actually be bearish if and this is a weekly time frame, if on Monday morning this thing pulls back beneath the bottom and it opens back up around 188. Okay, so now I'm not predicting that. I'm just letting you know that this move was pretty hot, and it did something similar back here. Okay, so this candle's just slightly concerning to me. And so I think that if we can consolidate here on Monday, then I actually am predicting that we'll move up and touch the top of this channel again. And that puts us up as high as 287. And yes, I mean, let's process what I just said. $80, we're talking about a $200 gain, here in 2025. Now, to be clear, because I know the way people are when I share technicals, I'm sharing the possibility or how we begin to assess where might this move end? Where are the sellers and the bears waiting to ambush the bulls and just beat them down and run them off Wall Street? Well, I'm telling you guys, one scenario would be 287. And there'll be some bull lunatics at 287 that will say, oh, no, it's going higher. It's going higher.
They'll be buying the top.
They'll be buying the top. So, but I will tell you guys that if we get a small candle here, it doesn't have to be small, but if we stay above this 230, 232, and we consolidate in this range, then I actually believe that we could get up to 287. Now we can come down and bounce off a 226.50 again. That would be fine. So if we jumped up here Monday, had a red day, came back and hit 226.50, we're fine. The only thing that cancels this move, and I don't know why that would happen, but the only thing that cancels this move is losing the bottom wick of this particular candle, this weekly candle. So this candle actually represents the news of the partnership between AMD and NVIDIA. And so because it represents that move, we can have consolidation around it. But remember, we don't want a red candle engulfing it. And we don't want to lose that candle and cancel the move. So any price action that closes beneath the bottom of this wick would, in essence, cancel that news. And that would be Wall Street saying, we don't believe that. We don't believe it's as positive. Now, if the news is accurate, then it means that we consolidate in this area. And if we consolidate and hold above 226.50, then I'm predicting that this ultimate momentum will end at 287. And so if you heard anything out of that, I want you to hear the need to put in a stop loss. You got to assess where to put it. I gave you two places. Somewhere south of 220 would be a relatively tight stop loss, and beneath 200 would be like 198, 199. That would be a wide stop loss. But again, I'm going to say this, that overall, I would suggest that AMD is showing strength, and you're the type of person, Ashley, that probably would really do well with this because you're one of the best at holding your winners longer. AMD's winning. I want to hear, tell me about your thoughts on this.
Well, I've been studying it, and AMD actually has a $600 price target with this news of the partnership with xAI. And so the fact that they are going to be producing the need to produce so many chips for the computing power that is needed. And I have personally experienced this. I was trying to do taxes. So I dropped some information into ChatGPT and I asked it to categorize some things for me. I asked it to, give me potential taxes. It kept erroring out. And I have the high paid version because of computing. It couldn't compute everything. And that right there told me all I needed to know. That we were at the very beginning. We're at the cusp of everything AI, and the fact that they need stronger chips, they need computing power, they need energy to produce these, they are so hungry. These companies and businesses are so hungry because they want to be able to give me an answer and give me an answer quick. They can't do it. They don't have enough bandwidth and power. So, I actually think it's very smart that companies like AMD now are being partnered with when NVIDIA is the kingpin. But xAI said, you know what? We need somebody that can help us. Now, what's so amazing about this deal is they actually have a stake in it. AMD gave up 10% of its company to xAI.
Crazy. That's amazing.
And so they know, this is actually very smart. xAI knows that it is wide open blue skies for them. And the partnership dynamic gives me more confidence. So I am big on holding on to my winners, but what I will do if I have leaps or skips, I will exit those before that dramatic pull down. But if I have the shares, I'll just hold.
Can I share something with you?
Mhm.
So in my community, and I can't even remember the exact date, but it was months ago. Actually, I do remember. It was when AMD was $109 before it had fallen down to 80. So at that time, I began to say, guys, I'm going to accumulate this. We're not at the bottom, but I don't know exactly where it is. And I don't want to get left behind on this potential fast moving train to Wall Street. And so I said, I'm going to nibble and buy a single leap for 2026 on AMD. And then I came out and I kept buying and kept saying, I'm not afraid. And you guys hear that from me. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. It's the charts that I'm following.
Boldly in.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, I still have, I don't have a ton. I wish I could report that I held all of my winning AMD. No, but I held one. And would you like to know what percentage that original leap is that
Wow.
this morning? Well, I wish maybe I could have bought a better one. I mean, maybe if you and I chatted with you, but that one's up over 1,000%. So that leap is a 1,000% winner. And to be honest with you, I still think that you could justify buying some leaps here.
Well, you might want to if you have a winner I'm assuming your strike price was low. What was your strike price?
I think it was actually pretty high compared at the time. It wasn't. There was questions. I think it was around. It might have been 110.
Well,
Yeah.
if this stock is going to truly be $600, you might want to consider instead of just selling that for a profit, actually exercising it, meaning you actually will purchase the shares at your strike price. And then you'll just hold on to them and it can graduate to your long term portfolio. But I do that. When I did Palantir, I had purchased a $20 leaps and it expires in January. I'm just exercising it to get Palantir that's now, in the 180s to be able to buy it for $20 and hold on to it for my long term portfolio. So that's something you may want to consider.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we are sitting today at 231. And people were afraid to buy that at 110, and they were afraid to buy it at 90 and they were calling for an AI bubble then.
I think people are just it's hard when you open up your portfolio and you see the gains. It is really hard to believe. So people are looking for a reason to doubt it. But from charting, and I know just from everything I've shared with you on where we are in this price life cycle for the vast majority of stocks we trade, there is room to run up. And the fact that fear is out there actually helps us. It helps keep new, fresh money from coming into it pulls it into the market, which keeps pushing us higher for those of us that are holding on.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This has been so eye-opening. I have been taking notes. I know my viewers have. If you aren't already subscribed to this wonderful chart goat is what we call him. If you aren't subscribed, you please go over to his page and subscribe now because you will be more educated and you'll be able to take that knowledge. And if you like the way I trade, you'll be able to use that knowledge to make better trading decisions on the way I teach you to trade. So it's a great partnership. It's an honor to have you on my show today and be sitting at your desk.
I'm very grateful, and I feel like I'm going to get richer listening to you on some of the things you've shared today.
Thank you so much. Remember, if you're with me trading with Ashley and you've got a good friend like Stocks with Josh, there is no trader left behind.